Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be doing my manga haul for January, February, and March of 2025. I have a ton of manga to get through, um, including like a few one-off volumes, some like a new series, some repeating things, and just like some interesting stuff. So we're gonna start. Let's start with these. These are a fan-made Digimon manga called Digimon Liberation. I did a video on chapter 1 already. I'm not going to be able to get that without much glare, am I? And then there's chapter 1, and there's chapter 3. So this is a fan-made Digimon manga. I did a video on chapter 1. In the description of that video, you can find a link to the Pixiv where you can read chapters 1, 2, and 3 for free online. Excuse me. I don't know if you heard that, but I burped. Sorry. Um, this is a free fan manga on Pixiv, but on the author's Etsy page, he will do limited prints of the chapters and sell them. So I bought chapter 1, I bought chapter 3 because that's what's available. Chapter 1, I think at this point is sold out, and he said that he doesn't plan to reprint that again. I'm hoping he does another reprint of chapter 2 because I would like to own all 3 of these. I really enjoyed chapter 1, and I haven't touched chapter 3 yet because I'd like to get chapter 2 first. But yeah, these are just really, really cool. You don't really see stuff like this in the Western fan bases. You don't really see like fan comics getting printed out in limited runs like this. So I thought it was cool. The art for the comic is great. I showed that off a lot in the video, but the artwork in here is really good for a fan comic. And yeah, I'm really glad to have those. They're just really cool little things. Next, also, because I have a lot more books that I'm recording, like I got 3 hauls that I'm recording today. I got a lot of books. Usually I have like a little area right next to me that I set them on so I can grab them. I don't have that today, so I'm going to be walking a bit further back and forth. So if I sound a little quiet, I apologize. If the camera shakes a little bit, I'm sorry. But there's nothing I can do about it. Let's start now with... Hold on. Let's start with this, because it's a weird one. This is Manga Biographies, Charles M. Schulz, the creator of Snoopy and Peanuts. It's exactly what it says. This is a biography of Charles Schulz. Just a very quick, I think it's not even 200 pages, just quick overview of his life, him drawing Peanuts, him like as a kid, him going to like World War II. It is a very, very brief look at this man's life. And I've been interested in some nonfiction stuff, and like a nonfiction manga seemed right up my alley. I did enjoy this a lot. I feel like it suffers because it's so short. I would have liked a little bit more, but also in the back of this there is a list of like biography books that they pulled information from. So this was really cool. The idea of manga biographies is really interesting to me, and I'd like to see more. But yeah, this was a cool little book. Next, we have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Genji's Rescue Team. This is a really old Pokemon manga from like 2007. Let me look. Let me see when this published. It would have been around 2007, though. 2006. Oh, no. Here we go. Viz Kids Edition, first printing, March 2007. This is an 8th printing from March 2008. I loved Pokemon Mystery Dungeon as a kid. Recently, I got the remake on Switch. I played it. I enjoyed it. I remembered this manga existed. I remember seeing it on shelves when I was getting Pokemon Adventures and like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX manga and Legend of Zelda manga. But I never got it. I always skipped over it. But again, I remembered it, wanted to check it out, and I got this on eBay for like $10. It's in really good condition too. But yeah, it is just an adaptation of the game. A pretty quick one. They skip over some stuff, obviously, and it doesn't even get to the like final boss of the actual like main story of the game. But I think as just like a 1-volume adaptation, it's really cool, and it does something that I really like where The Mystery Dungeon games, at least the ones that I played, you always play as a human that became a Pokemon. Well, this takes advantage of that and actually shows you the human before he gets turned into a Pokemon, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, this was a really cool, just little single volume manga. Next, we have Wanted, Eiichiro Oda before One Piece. This was a manga that I wanted a long time ago. Back in the day, I used to do a manga and light novel wish list at the end of the year, which I stopped doing because I just don't keep up with what's being, with new manga and stuff that aren't being released in English already. But this was one of the volumes that I wanted, and it's just because the guy that made Bleach, he had a short story collection. It was already in English. The guy that made Naruto, I think, had one that was already in English. So it just didn't make any sense to me why this wasn't in English. And it was kind of annoying because One Piece is the one of those three that I just listed that I was actually reading. But this came out, and it's just a short story collection. It includes a One Piece one-shot. There's, 2 one-shots before One Piece got serialized. The first one came in the One Piece box set 1. This is the second one-shot of One Piece, and then the series started. So I've now read both of those one-shots, which is cool. Plus I got to read all these interesting manga, and it was just an interesting thing to see sort of what Oda was doing before One Piece came to be, and at the end of each volume, at the end of each story, he does a quick little here's what I was doing in my life right around that time, and it was just a very interesting read, seeing all these what ifs of what if this had got serialized instead. Yeah, it's just a cool little series of one-shots, interesting stories. Also interesting to see sort of where his art was before One Piece started, and you can see the art improve just through those one-shots. Next is a brand new Volume 1. I like comic books. I'm going to be doing a comic book haul after this video. And so when Marvel and Viz and Shueisha started doing all these Marvel manga, I was on board. And one of them is Spider-Man Octo-Girl. This is a manga about Dr. Octopus getting dying and then his consciousness going into a Japanese schoolgirl. It's a ridiculous premise, but they play with it in a way that's really fun. And also, what have I read? I've read One Operation Joker, I've read Superman vs. Meshi, and then I read the Deadpool Samurai books. Out of all of those, this is the one that feels like the person creating it actually read a lot of comics, or at least knows more about comics. At the back of the book, he even talks about reading Superior Spider-Man and really liking that, and that making him like Doc Ock. And you can see that here, there's parts from that comic that are just referenced in this. And it's pulling from that heavily. So out of all the American comics turned into manga that I've read so far, this is the one that feels like it's obviously not in continuity, but out of all of them it could be, because it's actually pulling from continuity quite a bit, and I find that really interesting. I think this is only 4 volumes. I think it's ended in Japan now. But this first volume was fun. I think the second volume's coming out soon. And yeah, it's just a fun little manga. I think if you like Spider-Man, I think if you like Superior Spider-Man, it's a ridiculous idea. Doc Ock is now a Japanese schoolgirl. If you can get over that, I think you're going to get a fun manga that actually, pulls from Superior Spider-Man. So if you like Superior, you should probably check this out. But yeah, I think that's it. That's not it for new stuff. Hold on. Ugh. Alright, it's time for some weird ones. So, in my next haul, my comic book haul, I'm going to talk about a comic book called Serenity. It is a Christian manga-inspired comic that I've read in the past, and I have a fondness for it, even though it's got its problems, but I like it. And every once in a while I get on eBay and see if I can find a copy of it. And I found a full set of that series, all 10 volumes. I bought it, and the person I bought it from messaged me on eBay and said, hey, we also have the manga Bible. Would you like those too? We'll just give them to you. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll take those. So I have all 5 volumes of the Bible in manga form. This is the, I think these, like, I ordered them as best I could. I think this is the first volume, Manga Mutiny. I don't know anything about the Bible, so I'm probably going to get some things wrong here, but I am interested in reading, it, so this was like a good get for me. I think this is volume 2, and then I think that's volume 3. Volume 4. Oh, can't see anything. Volume 4. Volume 4? Or is that volume? I don't know. I've lost track. I don't know if there's 5 or 6 here. That's the next one. And then I think this is the end. This is the final one. So I got that. I got that whole set for free, which is really cool. Incredibly generous from the person I bought these from on eBay. And then I also got the actual manga Bible. This is an actual Bible published by the people that published that manga. This was also free from that seller on eBay, and it is just it's just a Bible with some of the manga pages thrown in. So yeah, that was really cool. Again, all of these were free from the seller, which is incredibly generous, and I appreciate that a lot. I haven't got around to reading any of this stuff yet, but I definitely will. And that's all the new stuff I've got. So I've got 4 volumes left here. This is all stuff I've been buying for a while, so no surprises here. We've got 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You, Volume 12, and Volume 13. This series is still really fun. Just a ridiculous harem series, like, brought to like a ridiculous, like, I keep saying ridiculous. It's just a silly, almost feels like a parody of harem stuff, but also treats it well. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's ridiculous. It's over the top. The cast is ballooning, as you can see by the Volume 12 cover, and like, it feels like some of the newer characters aren't getting as much screen time as you would want. But the series is also doing a good job of having chapters where Rentro just isn't even involved, and we just get to see like the girls doing things on their own. So the cast is ballooning. I don't know like most of the characters' names anymore, but it's still very fun and very funny. So yeah, that's volume 12 and 13 of the 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You. And now my last 2 manga. First one is D-Frag, volume 18. Oh boy, this series is still silly and fun. I just wish that it came out a bit more frequently. The series is slowed down to a pace where like 1 volume is coming out a year, which is kind of slow, and I wish it was more frequent, but I'm still enjoying it, having fun with it. Like, this is the oldest manga I've been reading. I think I did a look, and I've been reading this for over 10 years now, which is crazy. But D-Frag, still a lot of fun. And my final manga is Plus Sized Elf, Second Helping, Volume 4. This is, more of the same. We get some exercise tips, some dieting tips, and then just some fun shenanigans thrown in between. Like, I don't know, this series still is fun. I'm enjoying it, and I think this one is also caught up now. So I think 100 Girlfriends is the only manga I'm getting right now that still has a decent chunk of volumes in Japan, so it releases kind of frequently. Like, Plus Size Elf, I think, is caught up with Japan. D-Frag, I think, is caught up with Japan. Which sucks for me, because it means that I don't really have a whole lot coming out right now. But that's going to do it for this manga haul. A lot of stuff. But I've been doing a good job keeping up and reading a lot of it, so I don't have too much of a backlog right now. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.